All right, what's up, YouTube? So, I haven't posted anything about my airsoft guns in a little while, and I've been posting things on my main channel, 2XKO content and some Arc Raiders, and I'll be playing that this weekend coming up when it releases. But I wanted to give you an update because even though I haven't posted anything about my airsoft guns, there's been a lot of forward moving in the airsoft guns and some other things, right? So what I want to show you right now is what I have in terms of airsoft guns, right? Now I don't know what I'm going to make this title. You may or may not know what I'm getting at here, but you'll see. So right now I have these four. Now I have five, and the last video I posted was kind of showing off the Combat Master that I got. Unfortunately, I kind of ruined that gun because I was trying to mod it. I was trying to mod it like and put like a different safety on it and something else, and I ended up like kind of messing up the thing, and I tried to go back and fix it. I think I lost the detent. I had to buy a new detent spring and assembly, and I had to and I got a new safety, but the safety wasn't quite the right size for the thing, and it was getting stuck. And so and then I kept having problems with the grip safety, but that one's over there. I still have it, and maybe I'll be able to repair it, or I'll just get a new one. But I did get two other ones that I have not showed you yet. So you've seen the 19X and you've seen the 6 Hour P365, right? So we're gonna get those out of the way now. This is my airsoft gun. Now I did remove the front, and you're not supposed to do that, but I never intend to take these outside. I never intend to do anything with these outside. I just think it looks better without it, right? So I took it off. I just used a razor to cut it off. Same thing with this one. Now this one, let me move this one out of the way real quick before I get started on that. So this one that I'm about to show you is probably, these are my two favorite ones right now. This is my Pit Viper, which I will not mess up like I did the Combat Master. I will not mess this one up. I'm not going to try to mod this or change it or do anything to it. I'm going to keep it the way it is, and it's great. And it does take the magazine that was in the Combat Master, so I have two mags for this, and this one has the Terran Tactical logo on the bottom of it, just like the other one. So the other one is over there. But this, I believe, is the one that came with the Pit Viper. Yeah, because this one has the same color thing. So yeah, this is the Pit Viper. Pretty dope. I like it a lot. And then this one is the SAI Blue. This is one of my favorite ones. This is a Glock 19 style airsoft gun. It kind of reminds me of an MR 920, right? And I got this sight, this optic right here, and this optic was $35. It was $35 on on Amazon. Let me see if I can get you in there. Can you see? Yeah, so it's a red dot, and I got this for $35 on Amazon. It's pretty cool. I was like, I'm gonna get it and try it out. If it's bad or if it doesn't work, whatever, it's fine. But it's whatever. Like, I put it on my airsoft gun. It does what it's intended to do. It's not going to break because I'm shooting it on this gun. This gun is not going to have some crazy recoil that might like pop it off. But it's on there. It's on there pretty tight. Before, if I don't know if I never released that video, but I had another sight. I don't know if I showed it in the previous video that I had, but I bought another sight, and it was a Sig Sauer airsoft. It was a 6 Hour airsoft gun sight, and that sight specifically was made for airsoft guns that were of the Sig Sauer flavor. And that one only fit on those. Like it literally had like the on button was on the front of here. So the part where it was supposed to um sit on the gun, it was blocking the place where it was supposed to like sit there. So you couldn't put it there. That's why I took the plate that it came with and I put some double-sided tape and I just stuck it to the top of this gun on top of the plate that was there. But then I got a regular RMR sight, which is this $35 one I got off of Amazon, and stuck it on top of here. And this one it's solid and it looks good. It does what it's supposed to do. I'm sure it will probably stay zeroed on an airsoft gun. Not sure about a real one, but yeah. So this is the SII Blue. This is probably my favorite airsoft gun. Now I do have this holster, right? I have this holster that I made this wing on because I got this holster, and this one, it fits Glock 19 style guns, and this one clips right into here, right? That's pretty cool. So I can like draw from this holster and mess around with that. But like I said, I don't intend to take it anywhere, so it's staying in the house, literally. And then I have the Pit Viper. So these are my two favorite ones right now, and I'm gonna keep these nice and safe in the house, and not really worry about that. But that brings me to what I've been getting into a little bit more, right? So while watching tons of airsoft content and looking up airsoft guns and seeing which ones I wanted and looking at stuff and seeing what was the next one I was going to get, what type of things that I want to put on it, I realized that I'm most likely never going to go to an airsoft game, right? But I wanted to go shoot my airsoft gun somewhere that wasn't necessarily just in my room and shooting it into the corner into like a trash bag of clothes or whatever, right? And I'm like, I don't know, like I'm not going to take my airsoft guns to the range, right? So I started looking into, I started clicking on other videos of gun content, regular gun content, real gun content. And I'm like, let me see if I can get a real gun, because I had been learning a lot from YouTube, and I started clicking on other gun content videos and basically learning a lot about gun safety, learning a lot about the Second Amendment, learning a lot about the very stupid laws that they started to implement and pass, and trying to eat all that stuff. But let's try to stay away from the politics for now, about guns and stuff like that. But that's part of the reason why I was like, all right, well, let me see if I can, right? And I was like, I probably can, but I should be as safe as I can about it. And I was basically starting to treat my regular guns, treat my airsoft guns, right, as real ones. So just to basically practice gun safety with my airsoft gun. So like anytime I started like messing around with my guns, I always keep my finger off the trigger. I would always drop the mag to make sure, there are no BBs, but there's a BB in this one. And then, checking, I always would check and look down the barrel to see if there was a BB in there, because there is a BB in here. But the difference between an airsoft gun and a real gun is that if there's a BB in there and there's no mag in there, you can't fire the gun. Like, because all of the gas, the propulsion system of the BB and the pressure comes from the mag, because the gas is in the mag. But that's not the case for a regular gun, because the gun, the propulsion system for the projectile is in the cartridge of, the bullet and the shell, right? So you always, before you start to mess with your gun, before you start to dry fire in your house, before you start to repair or clean or anything that you're getting ready to do, before you ever touch this trigger, and you always clear your weapon, right? You rack it and look down in there. The easiest thing for you to do. The easiest thing for you to do to never negligently discharge your firearm is to look down in there and make sure there's nothing in there. It is very easy to do and very easy to never mess up if you always do that. Another good way to learn gun safety is to watch a lot of negligent discharge videos on YouTube. Watch a bunch of gun fail videos, because then you'll see, oh, how did this person mess that up? How is this person, why would they do that? Like, why are they, you know, you watch a bunch of stuff to see how other people mess up, and you don't do those things, right? Because guns are not a joke. They are not toys, but you can have fun, right? But you have to be extremely safe, right? And I think the way that you would do that is to treat them like you would treat any other tool that could harm you if you're not careful with it, like a saw, right? You have a power saw with a battery in it, right? You would not change the saw blade and start messing with and unscrewing and pulling back the safety harness, or the safety little cover on the saw blade, and start messing around with it while you have a battery in the saw, right? While the saw is plugged in the wall. You don't do that. The same way you want to take the magazine out of your gun, clear the gun, make sure there's nothing in there. You want to take the battery out of the saw, or unplug it from the wall, pull the trigger to make sure that there's, you know, it doesn't like spin up or whatever, right? And you make sure it's nothing in there, and then you can start working on it, right? That's what you're supposed to do. So this is my gun. This is my MR920, right? This was my first choice in what I wanted. Technically, I wanted an MR920, probably an elite unthreaded barrel with the bronze barrel on it or whatever, but I ended up getting an MR920 Foundation, which is basically the stripped down version of the Shadow Systems weapons, which don't have all the nice looking parts, right? They have all the parts that make it a Shadow Systems gun without having without it being all nice and cool looking, right? So this is the holster that I actually just got. I had this other holster, the other holster that I showed. I got this one probably the day after I got my gun, or the first day I decided to start carrying it. I got this, and actually I have another one that I was carrying with before, but I needed one that could accommodate an optic, right? So I basically got this, and then I made a wing for it. I just put up some bottle caps and taped it around here so I could have a wing to push out to make it more concealable. And then I got this this pad, which I also have this pad on the back of here too. You can just kind of peel this off here, right? This is a Velcro. So that makes it more, it pushes it further into your body, makes it more concealable, and it makes it more comfortable to carry. Appendix, right? So this is the other appendix holster that I had, and I only used this for a couple of days before I got this one. And then I also have another one coming that accommodates a light and an optic. So this is the wing that I created by putting bottle caps or whatever and taping them to here so that they would stay. This is basically what it is. It's just a wing so that it keeps the handle a little bit more hidden when you're carrying, right? Like I said, we're going to drop the mag. I'm going to drop the mag. We're going to clear. We're going to look down in there. Look down in the barrel. You can see that there's no bullet there, right? You can lock the slide back and look down there. Let's get the light. Let's get some light down in there, right? So you see there's no bullet in there. No cartridge, no round in the chamber, right? That's how you know that you're good, right? Always want to do that before you start dealing with your gun. So we can put this over here. if you ever have any doubt in your mind that there's a round in the chamber, or you're like, let me check again, let me make sure I didn't like have a blank out and put another mag in there and rack the slide, and you just didn't remember for whatever reason, check again. It's very easy to look down in there and make sure that there's nothing in there. That's how you don't mess up. It's very easy to not mess up, and you never want to mess up ever, right? So yeah, this I actually got this. This was black, and there was no magwell on the bottom, and of course there was no sight on it. This is one of the sights that actually is supposed to help with people that have an astigmatism, and apparently I have an astigmatism, because my other sight that I got, the $35 one, while the dot looks very round on camera, like I showed you, it does not look round at all to me. It looks very like a blurry mess. Like I can still put the dot on target, right? But it looks like a blurry mess, and I don't want to see a blurry mess. But so I was like, I'll try this one out and see what this is like. And this one is a green reticle. See if I can get that in there. Okay. This one is a green reticle. Let me see if I can get that to focus. I don't even know if that'll focus. I don't know if it'll focus on that, but it's kind of hard to get it to see in there. I don't know if I can get it to see in there, but I'll put a picture on the screen of what it looks like, because it's a circle. It's a 65. I think it's a 65 MOA circle reticle with a 3 MOA dot in the middle of it. Right, I can see it. It's just kind of hard to get it to show up on camera because the camera has to focus on the reticle. But that's what it is, and I can see that a lot more clearly than I can see the red dot. Right. But otherwise, right, so you should always know as much about your firearm as you could possibly know. I think that anybody that is carrying a firearm, anybody that has firearms, should always want to know as much about it as possible, so that you're not like scared of it. You know what I mean? Like I feel like some people have guns and they're scared of them, and they're scared that they're gonna hurt themselves, or they're going to accidentally discharge, or whatever they're gonna do, right? But the more you know and the more you understand about how guns work, I'm talking about internally, all that, like how they're drop safe, all the safety mechanisms and how they kind of work in the gun to make sure they stay safe, how the triggers work, how the mechanisms in the gun, all that kind of stuff, right? So I've been looking at everything. And not because I was paranoid, but because I was literally interested. Because what made me interested more was that when I was working on and messing up the Combat Master Airsoft gun, those guns, at least the SAI Blue Glock 19 style Airsoft gun that I have, and the Combat Master and the Pit Viper, those are made with some like real gun mechanics. Like it's not just like a spring inside of a thing and it's just, you just pull it and the spring releases and it just shoots the BB out. Like it's made with some real like gun mechanics, but you know, made in a way that just fires BBs instead of bullets, right? Like, so it was kind of cool to like open it up and see like, oh, and then when I was looking at how to open it up and how to fix the spring and how to put things back together, I was looking at videos of it on YouTube and of real 1911s to try to fix my 2011 Airsoft gun, and it's the same thing. It just shoots plastic BBs and doesn't shoot real bullets. So that's what made me interested, and I was just like, that's cool. And then I started looking up other stuff. And anytime I ever have a question about like, what does this do? How does this work? Is this safe? How do you carry? Or how do you make it more comfortable to carry? Or questions about laws in my state. I always just go look them up, right? Always just go look them up. If you have any questions ever, just go look them up. Know as much as you can about your firearm. I think that's probably the biggest problem in the United States with the whole gun everything. The whole everything about guns is because, especially people who are in government and stuff like that, and I'm not even gonna go the government. I don't know what they doing. I don't know why they decide to pass these laws as if they're going to protect people when it seems like most of the laws that they put into place only really affect people who follow the laws already, right? That's kind of how laws work, right? Like you put a law into effect and it affects the people that follow the laws. It doesn't really affect the people that don't follow the laws already. Like people are already breaking the law, and then they put a law into effect to try to stop the breaking of the laws that currently exist. And the people who are currently breaking the law continue to break the law as if the new law doesn't even exist. But then the people who are following the new law were the people who were minding their own business, being safe and responsible with their firearms. And now they have to follow this new law, new rule, and it affects them heavily and doesn't affect the other people who don't care about it. So like that's kind of what got me. And I'm just like also trying to figure out, like, man, I'm like, do people even think about this when they're putting these laws into effect? I have to think they are, and they're doing it intentionally, because whatever, we don't have to go down that rabbit hole today. But yeah, I've been to the range. I've shot about 150 rounds through this gun. Not through this barrel. This barrel's brand new, actually. I got it on Monday, but the black barrel that was in here, 150 rounds. But yeah, I went to Wade's in Bellevue, and that was the first place that I shot. I went by myself, and I just kind of, got some ammo, took it there, asked questions at the counter of the guys at the range to make sure, I was doing everything right. And, any questions you have, you go there. It's like, okay, do I need to have a membership here? And they're like, no, it costs like $35. You go in and you pay the $35. And then you have to sign the waiver. You do sign the waiver, and the waiver lasts, I believe, there at Wade's, it's 1 year. And then it's tied to your ID if you don't have a membership. And then they, you go through the whole waiver, and, it has all the rules and stuff in there that you're supposed to abide by, the type of ammo you're allowed to shoot and not shoot. There's tons of stuff that I can't even remember and rattle off all of the rules, but don't be stupid. That's pretty much most of it. Don't be stupid. Be safe, be responsible, right? Don't point the gun at anybody. Keep your gun within the lane that you're in. There's like a yellow square on the ground. You stand in that yellow square in your lane. Your gun stays on that table, does not leave that yellow square, right? If you have to leave that yellow square, the dude was like, look, if you got to go to the bathroom, you got to go do something, your stuff's cool in here, nobody comes here to steal, your stuff will be okay. And they have cameras and stuff that they watch while they're at the front desk and all that kind of stuff. So that's cool. So went in there, the first day I went, I think I shot 50 rounds. I just got a box. Went in there because I was like, let me just go and just go shoot my first rounds through my gun. So I just don't have this gun, and I'm just not shooting it, right? Targets are like $1 a piece for big targets or something like that. But yeah, so went in there, set up my stuff, push the target back, and then all of the stuff that I have learned from YouTube on like how to grip the gun, how to aim, how to use iron sights, because I didn't have the sight when I first went. I didn't have this optic on here. Everything I've learned, and not I wasn't even like taking notes or anything, but like every time, like I said, every time I have a question or I see something that's interesting, an interesting video, I always go click on it. I've watched a bunch of different grip videos, and for the most part, everybody says they're pretty much the same thing, same grip. You know, you're holding here, you're wrapping your hand around, and then you know you have your this is pretty much your grip. You want to hold tight, put it on target, and then you squeeze the trigger without jerking the gun, right? And my first like shots were pretty damn good. My first shots were pretty damn good. My groups were pretty small. And then the second time I went, I shot 100 rounds, and my groups were like maybe fist sized for like a mag. So I have 10-round mags because I live in Washington, and so each mag I shot at a different section on the target. So I shot for center mass, and then I shot for head, and then I shot the two little targets that were on the left and the right of the head, just to have like separate sections that I was shooting, and they're all pretty much fist size groups, except from like one where I had two outside of the group. But for the most part, fist size groups for 10 shots, right? And I'm like, dang, that's pretty good. So you know, I paid a lot of attention to a lot of stuff that I saw on on YouTube videos, and a lot of different people and instructors, and a lot of information that I've soaked up over the last couple of months in learning. And I think that's probably the biggest thing that's missing from people being safe and us not having problems with firearms in America, is that more people just need education. More people need to learn the proper gun handling. They need to learn proper safety rules. They need to abide by those safety rules at all times when handling a weapon. Period. It will not harm you. It will not harm you. It will not hurt you. You can't hurt it if you've got a good gun. You can't hurt it, and it can't hurt you. Depending on what gun you have. Like, you got the SIG P320 doing its thing, but that's beside the point. And then you got, if you got a cheap gun that is not reliable, and you drop it all the time, and you break it or something, or you chip pieces up. You buy yourself something nice, reliable, and that you don't have to worry about babying, right? You don't want to. I've also seen that. Don't baby your gun, right? Don't act like you're gonna break it or something because you're racking the slide really slow. So like, I actually, when I first held a gun, when I went to the gun shop, that was a different feeling, right? It was a different feeling because I've never actually held a real gun, and the difference between, as you see, these are very similar looking, right? Very, very similar looking. And it's funny because this is what I wanted. This is my favorite airsoft gun. This is what I have now. But yeah, this slide is like super, super easy. Now, I don't know what it is for most other real firearms, but all of the firearms that I've ever handled, like when I went to the gun store and asked the guy about them and was, trying out different guns and holding them and whatever, and pulling back the slide, now this feels a little bit easier for me to do because I'm used to how heavy and tight the slide is. But when I first did, I was expecting it to be lighter like this, and this is significantly heavier because if you think about it, the bullet, right, it's a little explosion going off inside of this. So of course it has to be super heavy and thick to be able to contain that explosion and fire the bullet straight out of it, right? And do that hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and thousands of times even, right? If you were to fire a bullet out of this barrel, this gun would explode. Okay, that's the difference, right? That's the difference, because like this feels weighty. When I bought it and I got it, I was like, dang, this has a little weight to it, right? It still does. It's pretty much kind of the same weight, but all the weight is down in the handle in the grip and not up top. In here, all the weight is at the top and not in the grip. Even with the 10 rounds in it, maybe if it was like a 17 round or a 15 round, it would be a little bit more heavier down bottom too, and the whole thing would be a little bit heavier. But this is heavier down bottom because most of the weight is in this, and this, even without BBs in it, of course, is going to be a little bit heavier. Plus, if you have it filled with gas, that adds a little weight too. So you got that, but then you all the weight is up top here. So basically, don't baby your gun, right? So the way I actually learned literally 2 days ago, right? Because I basically was always pulling back the slide, right? Pulling back the slide with my hand, with one hand, and it's definitely tougher to do this. But the way what you're supposed to do when you really want to rack a round into the chamber, right, is you hold here, right, and then you push out and let go, right. You can pull back and push out with your other hand. So instead of using one hand to rack the slide, you use the strength of both of your arms instead of one, right? So you're just holding the slide and you pull it back, right? And you don't have to worry about, like it breaking. If you have to worry about it breaking, then it's probably terrible. All right, it's probably a terrible gun. So, but every day I learn more and more about guns and ammunition. Like I was learning about, like, what the different ammunitions were. I think I forget, it was two different versions of 9mm that I saw, and it was 9mm Parabellum and it was 9mm something else. And I asked the guy at the gun shop at the gun shop where my FFL was, and I was asking him about 9mm, and I was like, is there a difference between 9mm rounds? Like, should I get Parabellum or something else? Are they different sizes? Because I don't want to get the wrong size and put it in there and I have a malfunction, right? And then I was asking him about, like, what grain does he think I should get. And I've been seeing a lot of stuff online, and I've saw a lot of stuff about this specific gun because I was looking up this gun and other ones, trying to figure out which one I really wanted, and also what ammo to get for it. And I've seen a lot of people talking about going 124 green for this gun in specific brands, because certain guns don't like certain ammo, and you might have more malfunctions with certain ammo over others. And if you get like a compensator or something like that, where it's like compensators don't really like hollow tip rounds. I don't know necessarily how true that is because I haven't tried it yet. I haven't even shot my self-defense ammo through my gun yet, which I'm going to probably do the next time I go to the range. I've basically been just shooting full metal jackets at the range for targets practice and stuff like that, because that's a lot cheaper. So the first time I went, I got 124 grain, and I still have a box of 50 124 grain Remington 9mm. And the last time I went to Wade's and I went to go pick up ammo, I was gonna get some Blazer, right? And they didn't have Blazer. So, and the only reason why is because, like, I've seen it a lot and I've seen people using it a lot. So I was like, maybe it's probably pretty good. And I started looking up reviews on it, and I'm like, it's probably pretty good. So I'll probably just get Blazer because whatever. I see a lot of people using it. They didn't have it. So I was like, all right, well, I asked the guy at the counter, I was like, well, what should I get, do you have any, like, recommendations on ammo that I should get for shooting at the range? And he said that I should get, what is it called? It's this one right now. It's funny because the other day I feel like I've seen this one, this S&B ammo, and Luger was the other one, 9mm Luger and 9mm Parabellum. And I was asking, is there a difference, and should I be shooting one over the other, or are there different sizes? But he said there's really no difference. If anybody knows what the actual difference is, I'm probably gonna go look it up after I finish doing this. Again, because I pretty much looked it up, but I don't remember exactly what the answer was. I probably understand a little bit more now. But if anybody has the answer, put it in the comments. If not, then I'll just go look it up myself. But I saw this ammo and I was like, I don't know if I want to get this because I feel like this was the cheapest ammo there. It's 115 grain FMJ 9mm Luger, and this brand, I think I saw it somewhere that it was bad. So if somebody knows that, please let me know. But I shot 100 rounds of this through my gun the other day, and I didn't have any issues. I didn't have any malfunctions or anything. I still have 100 rounds of it left. I bought 200 rounds and I shot 100, so I still have 100 rounds left in my little ammo container here. This is what I take when I go to the range. I just have my little ammo container here, the little silica gel packets, make sure that they stay nice and dry. But they're not gonna be held for that long because I'm gonna go shoot them. But yeah, I shot that ammo, but yeah, I didn't have any issues. I didn't have any issues with this stuff. So what I'm probably gonna do every time I go, just to build up, is probably buy like 4 boxes and shoot 1. Or if I plan on it staying there an extended period of time, buying like 6 boxes and shooting. 4 boxes, shoot 2, or buy like 6 boxes and shoot 4 or something like that. Or 6 boxes and shoot 3. Like buy whatever I buy, shoot half of it while I'm there. And then bring the rest home, and then that way I can like stock up. But I also have ammo squared, which I put some stuff on automation on ammo squared so that I can like build up my amount of ammo and stuff like that. So at some point down the line, then I don't have to really I can just have them ship me out ammo on a regular basis, and then I don't have to worry about paying for it like when I get there, because like I'm just gonna have it come in on a regular basis and then go out and shoot on a regular basis. So yeah, I think that's probably what I'm going to do. And then the next level and stuff that I've been looking at is I've been watching competition shooting. So or at least the beginnings of it. Like I said, I don't know if I'm gonna be going out and shooting in competitions, but like it's something that's there, and it's a possibility. So, and they were saying it's always good to go shoot competition just for practice, because like you don't have to be super good to go shoot for a competition. Kind of like with fighting games, where it's like you don't have to be the best to go to a tournament. You don't have to be the best to go to your first local, right? You just go, and then like the people there in the part of the community that they're there to have fun, be safe, responsible, and make sure you know all the rules and follow all the rules. And they have rules, of course, like you're not supposed to be like handling your gun outside of certain areas, only at like the certain table or whatever, your loading table. Only ever like handling your gun when you're on the stage, because I literally was watching videos about this the other night, but only handling your gun while you're on the stage and while you're at the loading table, and that's pretty much it. But yeah, the only really cool thing would be if I had my own land to where I had to shoot my guns on, or something like that, like out back. You know what I'm saying? Like that's probably the best thing to have if you get into guns, is to have your own land that you can shoot on. But that's what I've been doing lately, and I've been kind of wary of even making these videos, because I hear that it's hard being a gun tuber, because not that I'm going to necessarily turn into a complete gun tuber or anything like that. Who knows, right? But like is hard because like YouTube doesn't like guns that much. Not saying that they're going to hide everything you do, or because of course I get recommended stuff that's gun stuff now because I watch gun stuff. So it's not like they never recommend me gun stuff and I always have to go searching for gun YouTube videos. So that's not the case. I don't know how it was in the past, but now, you know, I get recommended gun stuff all the time. So, and it's funny because I get recommended gun stuff by people that I'm not subscribed to because I watch a bunch of, you know, gun YouTube stuff now. And in those videos, people will be like, "Oh, YouTube doesn't like our channel. They're not gonna push out our content to people. So make sure you like the video and send this to and share this to your friends or whatever." And it's just like, well, I mean, they like you enough to share your stuff with people who are interested in those things. So it can't be so bad. You might have lower revenue because it's gun YouTube stuff. Maybe they might do that, but yeah, and it's just crazy because like I'm interested in this stuff, like legitimately interested in it. And when I get interested in something, you know, I want to learn as much as I can about it. But then there are always going to be, you know, people who are looking at guns like that's a scary thing. You need to be extremely careful. And it's like I am being extremely careful, and as long as you understand what it is that you're doing, and you're always clearing your weapon, like if you're gonna use it in the house to dry fire, you want to know all the gun safety rules, right? The first gun safety rule is treat every gun as if it's loaded, right? And that's of course until you verify that it's cleared, right? So every single time, even if you clear the gun, you look in there, you look down in there, it's clear, right? And then you walk away, you go to the bathroom, you go get something to eat, you come back, it's still sitting in the same place that you left it. You still check it again, make sure, right? You were thinking about something else, you put the gun down, you're talking to somebody in the same room, it's still where you left it, check it again. It's so easy to just check it before you do anything when you put it down. It's so easy, and it's amazing that people do this. And also the other thing is when you have the gun with a clip in here, you do not rack the slide then drop the mag. You drop the mag first. And then you clear. Make sure it's nothing in there, right? Check twice, check 3 times, whatever. Rack the slide, check in there. I've seen things in gun fail videos with rifles where people would go rack the slide a bunch of times, right? Rack the slide a bunch of times and then drop the mag, or excuse me, not drop the, they would drop the mag, then rack the slide a bunch of times, right? And then pull the trigger, and then a gunfire, like bullet goes off. And it's just like, bro, like you, all you had to do was look in there. Did you see one in there? Maybe you didn't pull it back far enough for it to extract the bullet, right? Because if you pull it back all the way, it should pop the bullet out, right? Which doesn't happen on an airsoft gun, by the way, right? When you go to clear an airsoft gun, you drop the mag and you're like, oh, is there something in here? Oh, there's something in there, but it doesn't come out when you go to rack the slide because there's no way to extract it. So you always have to, if I want to clear it, I have to like stick this in there and actually I have to push this back first. But push this back first and then stick this in there and the BB drops out, right? That's how you clear an airsoft gun. But if the BB is in there and you pull the trigger without the mag in there, it's not gonna go off. If you have a bullet in the chamber and you pull the trigger it's going to go off. So just make sure you always clear the weapon, right? Like I said, it's very easy to not mess up. Don't get complacent because you think it's so easy to not mess up. That's why I always check. Always. I dry fire with this thing. You see this thing right here? It's a laser trainer dry fire thing. The battery life on this thing is amazing because it doesn't do anything. It just has a red light. It has a counter at the bottom, and it has a sensor. So, and it has these little discs, right? So this is the biggest one, which is useless, I feel like. Then you have this one. This is the next smallest, and this is the smallest one. And you can use these to block the sensor so that you have to shoot this small hole in order for it to go off, right? This is going to be the last thing I show you before I get out of here. Maybe I'll do a little video on it so you can see a little bit better. But basically, this is the little laser, right? And if that laser meets that, it makes a little sound like a ding when you hit like a target, like a metal target, and it just counts up. So you can use this to train your draw, train your dry fire stuff or whatever, and train like your presenting and getting on target as fast as possible and pulling trigger and stuff like that. You could do that with the dry fire thing, which is pretty cool. I did find some other like dry fire stuff online, and there's so much technology. Like there's so much technology and so many ways to practice and train and learn and to do things properly that like people are just not out here learning. Like I don't know why you wouldn't want to learn how to use something that is supposed to be dangerous. Like it's a dangerous thing, and the more you don't know, the more dangerous it is. So to make it less dangerous to yourself and people around you, you should learn about it so that you don't mess up. But yeah, I could go on for forever for all the things that I've been learning about firearms and all this and everything. So if there's anything specific you want me to talk about as like a new gun owner that's been basically owning a gun for what, 2 weeks, I think probably 2 weeks now, and like maybe the things that I went through to get my concealed carry license, because I did that also, and holsters, carrying options, anything that I've gone through in the last like probably like 2-3 weeks with it. If you have questions about like relatable things for somebody who's new to guns and how I dealt with it, let me know, and I'll post another video about it. But until then, I guess I'll have more focused topics on things that I've been going through, and I'll post those. So, all right, I'll catch you guys later. Thanks for watching. Please do like the video and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more stuff like this. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.